that I thought were interesting. So the push notifications that pop up on your screen, on your phone, to tell you that somebody has sent you a text message or not, those pass through the servers, Google and Apple, which is not very obvious. I don't think I knew that. And the US government can get them with a court order. And in fact, they have been apparently ordered by the court not to tell people that this is happening. And the result is, let me just turn on this thing. It sounds like I've got somebody to view it. Yeah. Anyway.
The Nexus.
Yeah.
It's a vulnerability scanner.
Yeah.
It's a network scanner, but a very small part of it.
It's a network scanner, but what?
It's a very small part of it.
Yeah, network scanning is a small part of it. It's mostly a vulnerability scanner.
Is there a good vulnerability scanner open source?
Yeah, that's the one. Nessus is the number one.
But it has a free version, but then the enterprise version has a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I only know about the free version, but the free version is very popular, as you can imagine. And it's considered very good.
But I think the free version, it talks back to the company.
Oh, probably, yes.
It's online thing.
Well, you install it locally. I don't think it calls back to the company, but I haven't checked.
It's online because it asked me to log in every time.
Oh, maybe that's just for updates or something. I'm not sure. Oh, I think it is for updates. You're probably right. I think it has to update the vulnerability definitions.
Is there a good behavior-based firewall? Open source?
Not that I know of. I mean, that would have to be an AI.
No, but then companies sell those behavior-based firewall a lot, right, before the AI.
I don't know what they are.
It just depends on what the user do, then it check whether it's vulnerable or not, whether it kick out the guy or not.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them. I never heard of them, so I have no information.
I thought that was Palo Alto firewall is behavior-based, right?
Is it? I didn't know that. I never heard that term.
It's not rule-based.
I thought it was.
It's on the action.
That's interesting. I thought it was.
It's not rule-based is very basic. It's very early ones.
Well, I know it knows like Active Directory and it knows like games and social websites and stuff. So maybe they call that behavior-based. You can have rules.
On the action of the user before they make a
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah, that's what I don't know that term. I can't offer any enlightenment about it. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so apparently the government has been doing this for a while, and they've been ordering the companies not to tell you. And now that Ron Wyden has leaked this, the companies can now admit that they're monitoring those pop-ups on your phone. So it's an interesting new government spy technique.
Nothing new. It's doing this since Obama time.
Oh, it's been doing it for a long time, but it was not publicly admitted that it was doing it.
It was publicly admitted, but then they just hide it. You know, they just say the Congress tell them don't do it, and then that's it.
Okay, I never heard it. I never thought about those things that pop up, whether those are going to the government. But I didn't know, but maybe other people knew. Here's another thing I know nothing about. There is something called a liquid neural network, which is somehow different than other neural networks. And I've read 2 or 3 articles, and I still have no idea what it is. They say it makes extremely small models where you use just 20 or 30 neurons, and the neurons respond not only to the immediate data, but the history of the data. And somehow this makes them much faster and more efficient and cheaper. So it sounds very interesting, but I need to read the detailed research paper. All these articles about it never tell you what it is and how it works. So that's a thing to learn about, whatever a liquid neural network is. And I was unaware of this. The checkout lines at supermarkets are now having credit card skimmers put in them. They were at bank ATMs all along, and I haven't heard them being at checkout lines, but it makes sense that they would be there. So that's a thing to be aware of. And there's another thing I didn't know. This woman got a meal at some restaurant, I think in China, and she posted information about her meal on social media, including a QR code, and anybody that would scan that QR code could buy food and it would go on her bill. So her bill went up to $60,000. So the restaurant apparently forgave her, but that's another thing to be aware of. So IBM has now predicted the future of quantum computing. They predicted that they're going to have a drastic step forward in 2029 and a 10 times improvement by 2033. So they're putting dates on what everyone's been guessing. And this is important primarily for cryptography. When quantum computers get good enough, then all the current public key systems will be broken. And nobody has known when that is, but we're beginning to get some clue, so maybe we should be worried. Maybe it'll be within 10 years instead of forever. But this is all just speculation. This is very interesting. You know, the RNA vaccines have been invented decades ago, but they were very toxic. When they made the RNA injected into animals would cause some kind of toxic reaction, a severe allergic reaction, so they couldn't use it. And there was a gigantic leap forward just a few years ago where they replaced one of the base pairs with an alternative base pair that didn't provoke the allergic reaction. And that's what made the COVID vaccine less toxic so they could use it. But it turns out that that substituted chemical is not exactly identical to the first one, of course, and when what it does is it slows down the transcription. When you bake a protein and you hit that altered chemical, it slows down, and sometimes that causes it to stutter and repeat part of the sequence, so you get malformed proteins. Now, in the COVID case, the malformed proteins are benign, but there's no guarantee that they would be in other cases. So and they say 1 in 4 of the people who got the COVID vaccine, which I got another one today, as a matter of fact, will have this unintended immune response to the malformed proteins that are created because of this problem. So this is an interesting issue, and they say, of course, don't freak out. It doesn't mean the COVID vaccine is dangerous. It's much safer than risking getting COVID, but it does show a limitation of the reverse RNA technique, which is extremely important, and they're developing vaccines against cancer and many other things based on this technique, and they're discovering a limitation of it here. So that's an interesting medical issue. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. Besides completing the classes in Canvas, do you need anything else to replace my incomplete with a grade? The only thing that matters is the total number of points. And the point system in every class should be in an announcement. So that's all you need. All right, anyway, let me go back to this stuff. And see if there's any more of these worth mentioning. I think there's one more. Yeah, what is this, garbage? Okay, everybody has to pop garbage on the screen instead of showing me stuff. So this has been a perennial ritual now. The U.S. Army defined what the military security standards should be about 5 years ago or more, and every year they do an audit, and every year they're more than 90% out of compliance because they've defined what they need to do, but they don't have the staff or the funding to do it. And now, the same thing is true of federal agencies. They've defined event logging. There is maturity level on event logging, and here it is. Oh, what is this, garbage? What if there's anybody? No, it's not a paywall, it's just an irritation wall. Anyway, so you have not effective event logging, or you have basic event logging, only things of highest criticality, intermediate, and advanced logging, and they have been ordered to achieve advanced logging capability by now, and none of them have achieved that, essentially, almost none of them. I think 20 out of 23 have not achieved it, which is not surprising at all. That is not so simple. But this is certainly a good idea, and if you're interested, we're going to cover it next semester extensively in the network security monitoring course. We're going to set up Splunk. That's what it's for. It's in order to capture all the logs. And if you properly implement an SIEM solution like that, then you should achieve a higher level of maturity here. But anyway, in case anybody didn't know this, all the agencies are not as good as they should be. And the private companies are no better. I mean, everybody is pretty much sitting ducks because some people I'm consulting for are the same. You have a huge legacy load of old services that were deployed decades ago before anybody knew anything about security, and you can't possibly have the budget to remake all that stuff. So you can do a better job on the new stuff, but your old stuff is probably insecure, and it will be until it reaches its end of life. So this is why everybody is pretty vulnerable, and this is why you need to hire a lot of security professionals to have instant response teams to cope with it. So this situation of insecurity is job security for us. This is why they need to hire. It's just like if you have our prison system is very badly designed, so it creates an endless chain of criminals, and that's why we have to have so many cops. If we reformed the prison system, we wouldn't need all those cops. And if we reformed cybersecurity, they wouldn't need all of us. But anyway, He'd have to go find something else to do, like maybe write code and do something productive. But anyway, we're responding to the real need. There's a huge need for cybersecurity people since everything is so vulnerable. So, all right, I'm going to stop this recording.